explaining sort of your look, you know, the pale skin, the hair?
So basically, I mean, she's supposed to, her family understand that she went through a trauma when she witnessed this massacre that happened on the boat. I mean, it's a little bit of a sell, we know, that it is a distinct look, but actually walking around Vancouver, I have seen a couple of people that post-shooting this, I'm now very suspicious of, because there is some amazingly fair skin and white hair kind of combinations. So, yeah, Liv has kind of embraced that is her new look. She doesn't try to dye it or hide it. This is who she is now. So that's sort of the look. And yeah, she does get there are a few snarky comments made by new people we meet in the script that kind of allude to her colouring, but yeah, we play it off as humour rather than investigate that too much.
Does her colouring change regarding, like, how recently she's eaten brains?
The only thing that does is around the eyes. They get darker and redder, and then CGI put in contacts. We don't use contacts. We tried contacts in the pilot, but we actually managed to get the best effect with post-production, so we've got this milky kind of eye colour that comes in as well, and those are the two very significant things that happen when she hasn't had brains. And also you see more prominent veins.
Is there a sense that she's the only person who's like this, or is this semi-regular in the zombie-adjacent community?
As far as we know, that's why initially she really does think she's the only person out there. She has no idea that anybody else, I mean, I guess she knew she potentially contracted zombieism from someone, but she doesn't really know that there's a community out there at all. And so, yeah, throughout the first few episodes, you'll start to kind of get hints of whether there are, what they look like, how they manage to hide it, all those sorts of things.
Are you excited to potentially get an older skewing audience since she is coming out of college versus being like a 16-year-old going through it in high school?
Absolutely. I mean, I think it's the kind of thing that various people will enjoy for very different reasons. I mean, age range, but also genre interests. When I try to explain what the show is, and you sort of hit, like, we call it a zomcom and zombie and like, I mean, it really does have, and because of the nature of when I eat a brain, something different happens each episode, and I incorporate these different characteristics. It can go in very different genre directions. It can be kind of horror, or it can have remnants of like tragedy and romance, or it can have action. We have like some great action sequences, but there definitely is something to appeal, I feel, to very different kind of audiences.
Did you check out the iZombie comic books upon getting the role, and is there an aspect of the comic that you'd like to see on the TV show?
Yeah, absolutely. We as soon as I got the job and I was flying up here pretty immediately, kindly I got sent all of the graphic novels, and they're brilliant. I mean, it took me a long time to adjust to reading them. I wasn't from the only graphic novels I'd read growing up were Sandman. My brother gave me those when I was about 13, the Sandman Chronicles, and but I'm not super familiar with the format, so it's a little bit of an adjustment. I'm a real novel reader, but I found them. I just really enjoyed it. I think that her character very much is brought into this show as well, in terms of being pretty sassy. She doesn't take too much bullshit from people. She's vulnerable, but she's not a pushover by any stretch. She's not your damsel in distress. She is a bit of a warrior, and dealing with something that most people, well, hopefully no one in the world deals with, as far as I know. But yeah, I think that the comics established something so wonderful that we really wanted to draw from that everything that we could. Obviously, when a TV show is just such a different format, and certain things are increased and certain things are not explored the same way on the show, but that's very much been a part of the process and present in all of our minds.
Were you a Veronica Mars fan, and were you immediately sort of able to latch onto the similarities here with Rob and with Diane, etc.?
Yeah, well, what was awesome was a couple of really good friends of mine, Chris Lowell and Ryan Hansen, worked on Veronica Mars, and when this project first came up, I called Chris, and I'd been asked to test for it, and I called Chris and I said, hey Chris, like, you know, I love Veronica Mars, but I know you worked with them. What do you actually think of these people? And he was like, that's so funny, because they just called me asking the exact same thing about you. And like, you guys just go to a room and talk about it, because this feels like high school. I was like, what do you think about them? Are they nice? Are they... Anyway, everybody raved, and they said, you're going to have the time of your life. And it's true, we haven't found a squeaky wheel. We have the best time on set. All of the cast and crew get along so well. It was my birthday on Friday, and I've never been so spoiled in my life. The transport department set up lights and disco balls in my room, and I arrived to 50 cents. Go shorty, it's your birthday. day. 68 setups of beauty. We had 4 times they sang happy birthday to me. I just never felt somewhere where it's so collaborative and supportive, and we all are loving what we do. And I think that there's that sense in Veronica Mars as well. These people and Party Down and the way they work, and the producers and writers and directors that they continue to use are people who do this because they want to have a good time as much as tell a story that they think is interesting and going to be resonant with an audience. So I feel like I really landed with my bum in the butter here. It's very fortunate. Butter? Is that a saying? Yeah.
No, we're all going to be saying it to you. You just gave that to us.
There's been a lot on set where you say little things. Like, what are some things that you've said to your
Well, actually, just this morning, so I said, "Are you having a go?" And that means, like, are you picking on me, right? Do you say that?
Yes.
No, we don't. Kind of.
We've heard it in a lot of movies,
Yeah.
so I think we like are familiar with
Right.
it.
Well, somebody thought that I meant, are you coming on to me? And I was like, no, I mean, are you picking on me? Like, there are some very distinct lost in translation moments, but they normally provide laughs more than too much disaster.
Now people are going to naturally make a connection that you are Rob Thomas's new leading lady, and they're going to compare you to Kristen Bell. How does that feel?
I mean, I'm such a fan of Kristen's. It's an honour to even be put in that sort of ballpark, and I think I would only ever take that as a compliment. But I do hope that our show, we have our own spin and we have our own idea, and it's because we know what Rob can do, and with that show, what he has done, it's definitely a huge vote of confidence for us. But we're not trying to mirror it. We're trying to make our own thing, and there are some big differences as well. There's some grand departures from that in terms of how much we suspend reality and how much we have to suspend reality. So there definitely are parallels, and I think that the sense of humour and a lot of those, the voices, there may be similarities in voices, but Liv is a very different character to Veronica, and I think that what's great is the idea that people can keep kind of crossing over between them. I was so stoked that Ryan Hansen came up and did an episode on this. Rob Buckley and I went and did his web series. I was actually just in the trailer trying to watch the latest episode of that. It's hard to get in Canada. I'm trying to work out. Well, it's not. It's just hard for somebody as inadequate as me on technology. But I was like, Canada TV. Anyway, I didn't watch it yet. That's something to look forward to. But I love the sense of family and the sense of, because these people work together on Veronica Mars and Party Down and various shows and work together well, there is continued crossover. So we'd love to share that fandom, obviously, and the people who enjoyed that show, we really hope enjoy.